Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Gunpla Re-Review. Today we'll be looking at my personal favorite mobile suit of all time. And these guys are not Gundams. I don't know I have to say that because Rob at Bad Toy Nation insists that I mention that these guys are not Gundams. I have no idea why. But anyway, right here we have the Sazabi, and right here we have the Sazabi. So here's the high grade version, and here's the real grade version. As you can see, they're both in 1/144 scale. Just that the real grade version is a little bit bigger due to having more parts. I think the high grade Sazabi may be a little bit undersized. I mean, if you're comparing this to the new Gundam, you can see that this guy's a little bit smaller. So I would say this is probably, the real grade version is probably the proper scale for 1/144. So yeah, he also want me to do a scaling video. I don't know why, but anyway, these two are one of my favorite kits of all time. Well, they're both one of my favorite, well, the Sazabi is one of my favorite mobiles of all time. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the high grade Sazabi here. Obviously, I put a ton of decal on this guy. You can see tons and tons of decals. I think the decal does make it look a lot better. Yeah. Without it, it looks super plain. And the articulation on this guy is pretty dated, so don't expect too much articulation. I mean, it's still overall a pretty good kit. It's a very solid kit. And it doesn't take like, 10 hours to put together like the Sazabi. You can probably put this guy together in like 3 hours. Not including like, putting decals and paint work and stuff like that. But here you go. Yeah. I think I'm going to probably remove that. I think that looked kind of silly. But yeah, obviously you got old style articulation, so it's kind of dated. But it's to be expected. This kit came out in 2010, I think. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the amount of details, the difference. So you can see the real grade chest is a little bit smaller, and it's got tons of stuff going on for it. And you can see also more, pretty much like every panel on these two kits are completely different. The legs are, the shape are the same, but it looks completely different by design. And you can also see the back section right here. This thing looks kind of plain. This thing is just ridiculously detailed. There we go. Obviously the fuel tanks are much bigger on the real grade. Backpack is totally different too. Shoulder armor different. Yeah, even the head is kind of different. The shape is the same, but overall, the amount of detail that goes into the real grade is just amazing. Let's go ahead and take a look. We don't need to go over the articulation too much. This is just a comparison video. You can see that the real grade just destroys the high grade in every way, shape, or form. There's really nothing on the high grade that outshines the real grade. Other than that, yeah, it's not even as sturdy as a real grade, so it's solid, but the real grade is actually a lot sturdier if you're comparing it side by side. And here we have the funnel parts, the funnel racks. Yeah, I was debating on selling my high grade Sazabi after I build the real grade Sazabi, but I think I'm gonna keep this guy around just for fun. I might actually consider repainting this guy. Yeah, maybe use some nice shining automotive paint to give it more life. I really do not like these hip joints on this kit. It's really not that impressive. Always seems like one leg is like higher than the other for some reason, and it likes to come off very easily. So yeah, that is very annoying. I always have to push it in very hard. And look, it always looks like one leg is longer than the other. I think that's probably because this leg isn't pushed down properly. But anyway, here we go. And the way the shield is connected on the the high grade, it's very weird. I mean, it's always at a weird angle, so it's very annoying. You can't store the beam X effect part in here, so that's at least nice. Alright, and I think that is pretty much it. I talk about the real grade Sazabi a lot, like way more than I should, so I think I'll give you guys a break about that. And here's a high grade Sazabi. So it's still a pretty solid kit, but I don't think people will be buying this kit. Consider it's only about like $15 cheaper than the real grade in today's prices. So you're probably a lot better off going with the real grade unless you don't want something. Well, you're just pretty much better off buying the real grade Sazabi, period. I don't think of any reason why you want to buy the high grade Sazabi unless you already have the real grade Sazabi and you want a companion for the real grade Sazabi. I would even go as far as considering getting the master grade Sazabi Berka, if you want a very nice looking statue that you don't want to do anything with, just like leaving there as a centerpiece. That would be very nice. This is definitely the definitive Sazabi. You can pose it, you can play around with it. You don't have to worry about, breaking it or something like that. And this one is just, before the real grade Sazabi, this one is still a very nice kit. But now that the real grade Sazabi is a thing, this is kind of like, this is like an easy pass unless you have to have it. Just like the Unicorn Gundams, obviously you can tell the size difference from my previous video. You can see that Unicorn Gundam, the real grade, is taller than the high grade. In this case, it's a little bit more significant. You can see Sazabi real grade is almost a head taller than the high grade Sazabi. So yeah, with the Unicorn, it's very slight difference. Yeah, anyway, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys find this information helpful. Thanks for watching.